Hello, everyone. Welcome to EME/GEOG 432. My name is Dan Casper. I will be your instructor this semester. I'm really excited to go on this energy policy journey with you all. Energy policy is something that is a passion of mine. I deal with it on a regular basis, but I've never had the opportunity to teach this course before. So I'm really excited to dig into the content with you. That's been expertly prepared by Brandy Robinson, a faculty member at Energy and Sustainability Policy. And I wanted to accomplish a few things here. Number one, introduce myself, let you know there's a real human being, posting announcements and sending you feedback and so forth. Hopefully we will have the opportunity to interact via Zoom later in the semester. We'll talk about that as the semester progresses. But also I want to express, how important this topic is. As I'm sure you know, there's no way we're going to establish a sustainable society without the right energy policy. That's partly because energy policy and climate policy are just intricately tied together. And I'm sure you know that as well, but that's really important. That'll be a theme that you'll see recurring throughout the semester, is that you just can't extricate the two. Energy policy is climate policy and vice versa. And so that's important to understand. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is I'm really excited about our project this semester because we will be working with a local nonprofit. So I live in the state of Delaware, and there's a nonprofit that I'm affiliated with that does a lot of really good work applying energy and climate policy in a low-income context. And so we will get to give them some advice on how they can best position themselves for funding that's coming up. So you probably know that there's a couple of big pieces of federal legislation that have recently passed. It's like the most exciting time for energy policy folks in a while, because you have the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that just came out, and the funding is still ready to be deployed. So this is literally unprecedented in terms of the amount of funding that's coming out. You may also know that the Biden administration has a what they call their Justice 40 initiative, and so 40% of federal money in this type of money is supposed to go to address issues affecting disadvantaged populations in the United States. So we're going to get to see how all of those intermix together, but most importantly, how it actually gets deployed on the ground and how it impacts real people. And also, really importantly, you have the opportunity to provide some advice that may actually end up helping them help people and really use this money that's coming out to make some positive impacts in all of those sectors. So I think it's really it's a great opportunity. It's a great time to see how you have this federal legislation that's filtered down to the states and that's filtered down to the local level, and then how is that applied? All of that's where the rubber meets the road. So it's really exciting that you get an opportunity to dig into that. And finally, I just want to express the importance of communication. I know everyone's busy. I know that you can't solely focus on this class, and your life doesn't revolve around this course. I know you'll take it seriously, but I know that you all have lives. You have kids, you have jobs, etc. So if something is preventing you from being successful or handing in assignments on time, all I ask is that you communicate. But you communicate ahead of time as much as possible. So if you tell me 3 weeks after assignments due that you were sick that week, or your kid was sick that week, or you had to travel for work or whatever, it's a little bit hard at that point to do anything. Under extenuating circumstances, perhaps, but most likely the ship has sailed at that point. So just try to look ahead, right? Like look at your schedule. Are you traveling? Your kids have some stuff to do, whatever. I'll be as flexible as I can within reason. I try to be a reasonable person, and I'll try to do the same. Okay, so if something, I have kids, I have other responsibilities, and if they're getting in the way of me sort of giving you feedback or whatever, then I'll try to communicate to that to you as far ahead of time as possible. So keep those lines of communication open. It's easy, it's an asynchronous course, so it's easy to just kind of do your thing and do your assignments, but I want you to communicate. There's multiple discussion boards. There'll be opportunities throughout the semester to get together. And actually, one more thing, I want to give you a heads up on this final project, that Ultimately, it is a group project, which I know is like a four-letter word on asynchronous learning. I know it's tough. I understand and I empathize. But as you'll see, the way it's structured, the first part of this assignment is done individually. And so you can kind of like get a feel for where you fit into the assignment and which part you want to play. And then you'll form groups toward the end. But most of the early assignments are individual. And then later on, you kind of organically form groups with people and kind of determine which topic makes the most sense. So I've been told that this model has worked pretty well for everyone, and it kind of eliminates some of the difficulties of group work. So I just want to give you a heads up that it is a group project, but it's structured not like a typical group project. And I'll provide more details as we move on. But it's a really exciting opportunity, and I hope you get excited about the project and you work in these groups and everybody's really into it, because you really have the opportunity to make like an actual physical impact applying energy policy. So what could be better for an energy policy course? Okay, so that's really it. Again, I'm really looking forward to working with you all and digging into this content with you. And I do want you to keep those lines of communication open. And hopefully I'll see some of you on Zoom later this semester. And I hope your semester gets off to a really good start.